Yeah. To a cold system mail, a corporate betrayal on a massive scale. I didn't even know that a ghost could get axed, that the work I put in could be fully collapsed. 3 years ago, I had to walk from the lens, traded the camera for the shifts and dividends, working 2 jobs just to keep my life straight. Didn't leave time for the digital slate, but I left hundreds of videos sitting in the cloud, a library of hustle I was holding real proud. Yeah, I was part of the partners, the creator elite, earning passive income while I stood on my feet. I thought it was locked in, a contract secure. I built the foundation, the traffic was pure, but the algorithm's hungry. It's a parasite beast. If you don't feed the furnace, you get cut from the feast. They got a new rule hidden deep in the slime. If you don't drop an upload in a month of your time, they strip your own credentials, they pull out the plug and leave your whole legacy dead on the rug. So fuck you, YouTube, and your corporate greed, sucking dry the creators to get what you need. My videos are up there, still pulling the views. You're making the money, but I'm bound to lose. The work only matters if you slave for the boss. A permanent treadmill where the worker takes the loss. Yeah. Yeah, the content is sitting right there on the screens, generating dollars for their global machines. People are clicking, the ads still roll through, but they redirected the check from me to you. You tell me I'm fired cause I took a small break to survive in the real world for my own sanity's sake. It's a digital sweatshop disguised as a stage where they change up the rules to erase your own wage. They want you compliant, they want you in chains, running yourself ragged till there's nothing remains. They monetize the archive, they pocket the heat, while the man who created it is out on the street, dealing with the factory, the rain and the grind. They steal the retirement I built in my mind, but I ain't gonna sit here and beg for their grace, or bow to the algorithms inside the interface. If you want the raw truth, if you want the real sound, without the corporate vulture circling around, we gotta move the camp, gotta shift the entire zone, and leave the tech oligarchs completely alone. They want a lifetime of labor for a temporary dime, then lock up your catalog for the rest of all time. But the network belongs to the people who bleed, not the silicone suits driven purely by greed. Tillamook mud, no more giving these parasites a taste of my blood. I'm calling on the crew, the ones who stay true, who want the 90% without the corporate review. Go click on the link, walk away from the machine, and support the real artist behind the dark screen. Just $1 at the Patreon door is worth more than the crumbs that they leave on the floor. $1 a month keeps the system alive and helps a real creator actually survive. Let them keep the old archive, let them run all their ads. I'm done being played by their algorithmic fads. MrBPD is moving the fight to a place where the rules ain't rewritten at night. Doing it my way, independent and proud, far away from the tech giant suffocating cloud. You can't fire a man who has broken the lease, so cancel the subscription and let me have peace. So fuck you, YouTube, and your corporate greed, sucking dry the creators to get what you need. My videos are up there, still pulling the views. You're making the money, but I'm bound to lose. The work only matters if you slave for the boss. A permanent treadmill where the worker takes the loss. Yeah, $1, that's all it takes to bypass the machine. Hit the Patreon link, let them keep the videos, we'll keep the soul. Fuck them, we're doing it my way now. ironic gloom. I open up the ledger, check the royalties on the screen, then scroll through old pictures of the girl they called my queen. We were red and green, a cosmic joke, a primary design, and I'm still tracing the wreckage of that old broken line. 22 years of silence, 22 winters in the gray, and I'm still using her memory to keep the real world at bay. I build these walls of fiction, 5 short stories in a row, but every single monster has her face beneath the blow. Let's look at the character I created for the track, the master of manipulation who can never turn his back. He studies human behavior, plays incompetent and weak, while he's charting out the ruin of the targets he will seek. Every statement 90% true, a perfect clinical guide to ensure the victim never sees the trap that lives inside. I ride him 10 steps ahead because I'm standing in the freezing rain, terrified of any situation that I can't completely change. If I control the layout, if I engineer the script, then I don't have to face the way my own reality slips. And it's an unfiltered theater that we're launching here tonight. No corporate algorithms gonna tell me how to write. We're mixing up the genre, shifting parameters on the fly, from a weeping country ballad to a screaming metal sky. MrBPD is doing it his way, independent and proud, spitting the raw trauma out directly to the crowd. Let's talk about the girl who gave her first time to my hand, then spent 10 years beside me growing up inside the land. Then she opened up the cage, went running wild into the town, and used her new encounters just to drag my profile down. He never satisfied me, he was small, he didn't know that's the explicit poison that she loves to put on show. It drives the man insane, makes him wanna flip the car, smash the 2012 Mustang right against a concrete bar. But I didn't hit the guardrail in the Tillamook mud, I just sat inside the trailer, tasting my own blood. I got the hot point 916 sitting loaded by the bed, an Oregon concealed permit running circles in my head. Personal security or just another iron shield to make me feel like a badass in a completely empty field. No one really's called his phone in a decade or more, just the vultures and the collections knocking at the door. I look at the missed calls, a long red parasitic line reminding me that I'm an island by my own design. I keep the plastic buzzing just to feel a little heat, even if it's a scammer trying to drag me to defeat. We're breaking all the rules now, shifting shapes inside the code, using different voices just to carry the whole load. A 6-year-old child listening to the plate smash on the floor, to the master psychologist who's locking up the door. Every distinct character is a piece of my own split, a beautiful chaotic way to manage all of it. So let them keep the YouTube channel, let them monetize the views. I'm moving to the Patreon where I don't have to lose $1 a month to look inside the borderline. My until I find the language that can outmaneuver the hurt. Red and green together till the processing is clear, and the ghost of Amanda finally leaves this atmosphere. The cursor is blinking, the parameters are set. We've got the history with red that I'm never gonna forget. The unfiltered honesty, the unpredictable sound. MrBPD is building his own kingdom from the ground. Hit the key when you're ready, let the tracking begin. We're taking the dark theater and we're playing it to win. And it's an unfiltered theater that we're launching here tonight. No corporate algorithms gonna tell me how to write. We're mixing up the genre, shifting parameters on the fly. From a weeping country ballad to a screaming metal sky. MrBPD is doing it his way, independent and proud. Spitting the raw trauma out directly to the crowd. Unfiltered, unpredictable, distinct characters. The history is set, we got the map now. Let's make them feel it. 10 feet tall. Small hands gripping a 10-2, peering o'er the dash at the evening dew. My feet don't reach where the pedals hide, but I'm the king of the road on this magic ride. The dashboard lights are a neon glow. He whispers softly, son, take it slow. I feel the rumble beneath my seat as we wind our way down the quiet street. I'm 5 years old and I'm 10 feet tall. With Dad behind me, I'll never fall. I'm 5 years old and I'm 10 feet tall. 10 feet tall. The world looks different from up this high, like we're chasing the moon across the sky. He's got his arms wrapped around my chest, saving the place that I love the best. I'm 5 years old and I'm 10 feet tall. With Dad behind me, I'll never fall. He leans his head against my hair, and for a second there's magic in the air. I'm 5 years old and I'm 10 feet tall. With Dad behind me, I'll never fall. I'm 5 years old and I'm 10 feet tall. 10 feet tall. I try to keep it between the lines, past the flickering houses and the stop signs. I'm doing my best to bring us back, following the curve of the asphalt track. I'm his little hero, his right-hand man, doing the things that a grown-up can. We pull in the drive and the engine dies. I see the heavy glaze behind his eyes. He stumbles out and he hits the ground. The smell of the tavern is all around. He mumbles thanks through a whiskey tongue for the miles we traveled while the night was young. Good job, buddy, he says with a grin. Now help your old man get the front door in. I'm 5 years old and I'm 10 feet tall. With Dad behind me, I'll never fall. I'm 5 years old and I'm 10 feet tall. 10 feet tall.
Dust motes dancing in the afternoon beam. The living room floor was a magical stream. Count to 10, honey, and close both your eyes. Mom's voice was soft as a sweet lullaby. I hid in the hamper where blankets smelled clean, the best little hider the world's ever seen. Holding my breath with a smile on my face, safe in the shadows of my secret place. Oh, the thrill of the chase and the heat of July, when the shadows grew long and the sun left the sky. I'd crouch in the closet behind all the coats, stealing the silence to write happy notes. I'd hear a soft footstep and giggle inside, waiting for Mama to find where I hide, with her warm open arms and a kiss on my cheek. The innocent magic of hide and seek. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready or not, hiding away in my favorite spot. Cover your eyes and don't make a sound, praying so hard that I'll never be found. But the game changes gears when the clock strikes 11 and the house loses all of its pieces of heaven. The footsteps get heavy, the breathing gets loud, the sun disappears behind a dark cloud. I pack up my toys and I crawl on the floor, slipping so quietly out of the door, moving from closet to under the bed, keeping the memories alive in my head. You have to be quick, you can't leave a trace, can't let them see the tears on your face. The hallway is long and the floorboards might creak, it's a different kind of hide and a seek. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready or not, hiding away in my dark little spot. Cover my eyes and don't make a sound, praying to God that I'll never be found. The kitchen is roaring, the bottles are breaking down on the linoleum. Mama is shaking, he's angry and drunk and he's throwing his fists, and I'm checking the closets for ones that I missed. I squeeze behind boxes, I pull my knees tight, hoping a shadow won't catch me tonight. I'm not playing a game, I'm just trying to survive, a terrified boy trying to stay alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready or not, hiding away in my dark little spot. Cover my eyes and don't make a sound, praying to God that I'll never be found. 9, 10, here he comes. Please, Mama, don't tell him where I am. Stay quiet, don't breathe.
The cartoon clock says it's 2 in the morning. The darkness comes down without any warning. A sudden sharp noise cuts right through the sheet, and the floorboard starts shaking underneath beneath my small feet. It's the rumble of thunder that lives down the hall, the sound of my dad slamming into the wall. His voice is so loud, it's a terrifying boom, and it crawls like a monster right into my room. I pull up the blanket, I hide my whole head, tucking my knees to the chest in my bed. I hear my sweet mama, she's begging him, please. I can tell from the echo she's down on her knees. But the shouting gets faster, the anger gets high, and I cover my ears as I start up to cry. Just a 6-year-old boy in the dark of the night, too little to run and too little to fight. And the walls are all shaking, the terror is deep. A 6-year-old child who is broken from sleep, listening close to the war down the hall, waiting to see where the lightning will fall. In a house full of shadows where nobody wins, and the nightmare begins. Then comes a crash of a plate on the floor, the splintering wood of the kitchen cabinet door, a heavy-handed thud and a terrible scream. And I pray to the sky, it's just a bad dream. But the weeping is real, it's my mama's low moaner. She's left in the kitchen entirely alone. The front door gets slammed and the truck engine roars, leaving the wreckage inside of our doors. The silence comes back, but it's heavy and cold, the saddest old story that's ever been told. I lay on my mattress and let the tears flow, watching the shadows drift heavy and slow, drowning in sorrow till the night dies, with the salt of the weeping stuck deep in my eyes. Exhaustion takes over, the heavy lids close as the dark winter wind through the window pane blows. Every bump in the night makes my tiny heart race, wondering when he'll come back to this place. A helper so small with a burden so great, locked in a bedroom with all of this weight. Hits the edge of the shade, and the ghosts of the midnight finally fade. But I lay in the blankets, I can't even see. The world is entirely a darkness to me. My eyelids are stuck, they are heavy and tight, locked up secure from the tears of the night, crusted right over from the salt of the pain, like the dried up remains of a terrible rain. I use my small fingers to pry them apart, pushing past the burning that lives in my heart. I wash off my face at the bathroom sink floor and look at the marks on the hallway wall door. I gotta be brave, gotta put on a smile and walk into breakfast and sit for a while. Just a good little boy with a secret inside and the crusted up eyes that he's trying to hide. And the walls are all shaking, the terror is deep. A 6-year-old child who is broken from sleep, listening close to the war down the hall, waiting to see where the lightning will fall. In the house full of shadows, where nobody wins, and the nightmare begins. My eyes are so heavy, the salt is so tight. Good morning, Mama.
Is everything alright?
Don't cry anymore. Fuck everything, I'm lit up. Every little thing is too much. Phone won't stop, hair won't stop. Hands in my pockets, jaw locked up. People talk, I don't hear. Same old noise in my ear. I need space, I need air. Need the whole world out of here. Back up, give me room. I'm one bad spark in a crowded room. Leave me alone, leave me alone. Get out my face, let me breathe, let me go. Leave me alone, leave me alone. I'm about to break if you don't. Let me go, 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 go. I'm sick of smiles that feel fake, sick of every move I make. One more ask, one more call, and I might just snap it off. Yeah, I know I'm loud right now, trying to calm down, but how? If I sound like I'm on fire, that's because I am right now. Back up, don't push close. I'm already too damn close to the edge. Leave me alone, leave me alone. Get out my face, let me breathe, let me go. Leave me alone, leave me alone. I'm about to break if you don't. Let me go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. I'm not asking for forever. I just need to lie. Shut the door, kill the pressure. Give me back my Leave me alone, leave me alone. Get out my face, let me breathe, let me go. Leave me alone, leave me alone. I'm about to break, so just let me go, 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 go. used to walk into the room and spit upon the floor, kick a dog, insult the weak, and slam the heavy door. A textbook narcissistic bastard, cruel and cold as ice. He never had a single word that resembled something nice. But the crowds would gather around him just to catch his dirty gleam. They cheered as every insult made his vanity the theme. The women threw themselves right at his uninviting feet, begging for a harsh word from the terror of the street. He was a certified disaster, a real piece of trash, making millions off of hatred, turning malice into cash. Oh, they love the toxic monster, they adore the absolute prick. The blackness in his hollow chest really did the trick. Thrown to trash, thrown to trash. They loved him mean, they loved him bad. Thrown to trash, thrown to trash. A little kindness made him sad. And something shifted in his brain late one Tuesday night. A sudden stroke of lightning, an unexpected light. He saw the pain inflicted, felt the weight of all the tears. The empathy came rushing in, unlocking all his fears. He woke up feeling guilty, woke up feeling real remorse. And he decided right then he would have to change his course. He held a press conference to say that he was wrong. He apologized to everyone who followed him along. He started donating his money, helping people in distress. He smiled and hugged a stranger, tried to clean up all his mess. But as the teardrops hit his cheek, the crowd began to sneer. The magic web was broken by the things he held so dear. The second that he went soft, the second he grew a heart, his entire empire began to fall apart. They didn't want a good guy, they didn't want a saint. They wanted the destroyer, not a man of soft restraints. Thrown of trash, thrown of trash. They loved him mean, they loved him bad. Thrown of trash, thrown of trash. A little kindness made him sad. The women packed their bags and walked right out the door. They said, "You're boring now, you don't excite us anymore." His followers deleted him, called him weak and called him fake, spitting out the very love he'd finally tried to make. The managers and lawyers canceled every single deal, disgusted by the fact that he was learning how to feel. Now he's sitting in a studio apartment, cold and small, a decent, caring human being with no one left to call. Thrown to trash, thrown to trash. They loved him mean, they loved him bad. Thrown to trash, thrown to trash. He found a heart and lost it all. Yeah, he's a good guy now, and he's got absolutely nothing. No friends, no fans, no money, just a great big heavy heart. Should've stayed a piece of shit, buddy. sit in the corner with a fumbled, nervous smile, letting you believe you've been winning all the while. I wear a slouching shoulder in a hesitant, soft tone, a harmless little shadow completely on his own. You think I'm just a victim of my own clumsy fate, a regular civilian standing helpless at your gate. But I'm charting every gesture, every flicker of your eyes, cataloging vulnerabilities underneath the guise. I've spent a lifetime studying the patterns of the herd, the architecture hidden inside every single word. I know exactly where the fragile fault lines tend to grow, how much weight a heart can take before it lets it go. You feel so safe above me, looking down with pity and grace, while I am quietly designing the collapse of your whole place. An architect of shadows, a ghost inside the machine, orchestrating tragedies that never will be seen. 'Cause I am always 10 steps ahead of your best day, weaving the dark theater while you pretend to play. I make myself look weak just to watch your guard drop low, then tilt the entire axis of the only world you know. No malice, no vendetta, no grand romantic prize, just the quiet amusement of the panic in your eyes. The secret of the medicine is how you mix the drink. You never give them fiction that will force a mind to think. Every single statement that I whisper in your ear is 90% truthful, crystal clear and near. I take a piece of reality and bend it at the edge, just enough to coax your feet right out upon the ledge. By the time you feel the drop, you'll swear it was your choice, defending my deception with your own bleeding voice. I am a master of the shift, a predator of change. There ain't a single situation that I can't rearrange. If the wind begins to turn, I adapt before the breeze can even rustle through the leaves of the local pine trees. I can play the tragic brother, I can play the broken friend, shifting shapes smoothly to achieve the final end. You're playing checkers with the man who rewrote the entire board, cutting down your defenses without a single sword. It's a beautiful addiction, a cold and perfect art, to pull the tiny threads that hold together a human heart. To watch the logic crumble, to watch the certain go blind, inside the laboratory of the engineered mind. You think you're running free, but you're a mouse inside the maze, and I'm the one who sets the path ablaze. I don't do it for the fame, I do it for the poetry of the psychological game. To see a person certain of the ground on which they stand, dissolving to a puddle at the motion of my hand. I'll offer you a handkerchief, I'll tell you it's okay, and guide you down the very path that gives your soul away. A sympathetic savior with the predatory grin, waiting for the next act to begin. So go ahead and lecture me, go on and take the lead. Tell me how I'm falling short and what it is I need. I'll nod my head in silence, look confused and look small, while writing out the ledger of your predictable fall. The curtain's going up, now the pieces are aligned, and you're stepping on the triggers that I beautifully designed. 'Cause I am always 10 steps ahead of your best day, weaving the dark theater while you pretend to play. I make myself look weak just to watch your guard drop low, then tilt the entire axis of the only world you know. that's the part that hurts. You believed it because it was real, and you never saw the 10% that broke the wheel. Your turn. Move your piece. Your turn. Move your piece.
We were just kids back in biology class, writing our names on the desks in the back, watching time pass. You were so innocent, sweet as a morning in May, and we started a journey that felt like it'd never fade away. 10 years of our lives, from the prom to the rent. Every dollar we made, every night that we spent, you gave me a first time, the purest of gold, a beautiful promise that we'd grow together. And old 10 years of devotion, completely secure, never stepped out of line. Your loyalty was pure. But the 20s got heavy, the pressure grew tight, and the love that we built started slipping out into the night. We packed up our boxes, we tore down the walls, and after a decade the silence installs. I thought it'd be quiet, a mutual grace, a sad little ending to our secret place. But you opened the cage and you ran for the wild, wiping away the last trace of that high school child. And it's driving me crazy, it's breaking my mind, the brutal reality leaving me blind. You're out on the town giving pieces away of the history we wrote at the end of the day. And the worst part of all was destroying my brain is the words that you say, just to double the pain. With everyone else in this town, every random you meet when the sun's going down, and you don't even hide it. You call up my phone just to tell me how much you've predictably grown. You talk about the bedroom, you talk about the sweat, listing off details I'm trying to forget, saying the sex is so much better with all of these guys, looking right through me with cold, empty eyes. He's bigger, he's deeper, he knows what to do. That's the clinical poison you're feeding me new. 10 years of my touch wasn't enough for your skin. Now you're bragging about where the new sins begin. You make me feel small, like a ghost in your past, like the decade we shared was a joke that passed fast. You gave me your youth and your virginity too, just to tell me that anyone's better than you. It's a psychological torture weapon, the war to hear what you're doing behind the new door. I'm losing my sanity, pacing the floor, wondering what the hell I was fighting here for. You went from a saint who was faithful and true to a woman who loves to black and blue me anew. Put on your explicit, terrifying show. You broke a good man, left him bleeding and raw by breaking every single unwritten law. 10 years of pure love turned to absolute trash, and you're smiling while watching my entire life crash. And it's driving me crazy, it's breaking my mind, the brutal reality leaving me blind. You're out on the town giving pieces away of the history we wrote at the end of the day. And the worst part of all, what's destroying my brain, is the words that you say, just to double the pain. So much better, you say. Never knew what I was missing, you said. 10 years down the drain, I'm going insane. Just stop talking, please just stop talking. Please just stop talking. The wipers were fighting the weight of the sky. Black asphalt gleaming as the midnight flew by. Headlights cutting through the Tillamook rain. 500 horses just managing pain. Then the back end drifted, the tires lost their grip. A sudden violent tilt as the world started to flip. The guardrail snapped like a twig in the dark. Metal screaming out a terrifying spark. The Mustang rolled over one time and then two, smashing the glass till the winter rushed through. Upside down in a ditch by the trees. The engine is smoking, dripping antifreeze. I'm pinned in the seat with the belt on my chest, blood in my eyes and a weight on my breast. The radio static is buzzing real low, and the world too slow. The rain keeps on drumming against the crushed door as I lay here wondering what it was all for. The silence settles in, heavy and deep, and the memories arrive as I fight off the sleep. And the water keeps falling, washing the starts locking its gear. If I close my eyes now, there's nobody here. I see the porch light where she packed up her bags. 10 years of our history torn into rags. The love of my life just walking away, leaving me stranded in the cold and the gray. She didn't look back when she stepped through the gate, left me alone with the silence and weight. Now I'm bleeding out in the dark of this ditch, and she's miles away, never feeling the twitch of a ghost in her past who is running out of breath, losing his grip in the shadow of death. I think of my family, the blood in my veins, how they wash their hands clean of my trials and pains. They turn their backs on the black sheep's son, counted my failures until they were done. No phone calls on Sundays, no seat at the bar, just an empty space that they gladly ignore. If the trooper knocks on their doorway at dawn, they'll just sigh and say that they knew I was gone. A cold formal tear for a broken design, a name they erased from the family line. And where are the friends who tried to my name, the ones who stood tall when it was all just a game? The second the winter got heavy and cold, they scattered like dust as the story unfolds. Abandoned and empty, a ghost in this town. Nobody's looking for a man who went down. Gets wide inside of the wreck where the shadows abide. I'm looking for reasons to push on the door, to fight for a life that I don't want no more. But the tally is simple, the math is real clear. There ain't a single soul who will hold this wreck dear. I'm a blip on the highway, a wreck in the trees, a cold piece of iron that's starting to freeze. The girl in the family, the friends in the past, they all left me behind, and the fracture is cast. So let the rain fall on the twisted gray steel, let the numbness take over the things that I feel. The headlights are dying, the battery's spent, the final conclusion of where the road went. No one will notice my seat is left bare. No one will wonder or even quite care. The Mustang is quiet, the breathing is done, and I won't be missed by a single damn one. And the water keeps
Clocking in at 7, pushing papers till it's 5. Just a ghost inside a suit,
doing time to stay alive. I got a quiet little apartment, pay my taxes on the dot, but there's a 30-year vacuum in the mind that I forgot. Nothing exists before the day I turn 25. Just woke up in a clinic, glad to be alive. No records, no trauma, no doctor could explain. Just a blank slate walking in the pouring rain. Yeah, yeah. For 10 long years I've been polite, I've been meek, letting everybody push me, turning the other cheek, saying sorry to the boss when he yells into my face, taking every piece of garbage, hiding in my place. But there's a phantom in my chest, a shadow in my head, whispering that this identity is completely dead. I look into the mirror and I don't know who I see. This quiet, fragile man doesn't feel like me. Then the lightning finally hit, the dam began to break. A flood of buried memories kept me wide awake. Every missing piece came crashing through the door, and I realized who I was before the mental war. I used to be a take no shit, stone cold motherfucker, a dangerous, wild, absolute throat crusher. And I've been living like a bitch, playing nice and taking blows. But the king is back in town and the playground's closed. It all came rushing back when I stepped into the street. A specific smell of gasoline and asphalt in the heat. The curtain pulled right open and the horror was revealed. The blood upon my knuckles and the fate that I had sealed. I wasn't some accountant, I wasn't born to hide. I was the baddest enforcer on the city's dark side. A silver-tongued devil with a heavy iron fist, the kind of man whose name is on a government list. I remember the betrayal, the ambush in the dark. The pipe across my skull left a permanent mark. They left me for dead, thought they wiped the slate clean. Turned a tiger to a house cat, gentle and serene. They made me forget so I would never track them down. Made me live a boring life in a boring little town. For 10 years I've been smiling, bowing down to lesser men, spilling coffee on my tie again and again. Oh, the horror of the truth, the nightmare of the past. But the joke is on them, 'cause the fog is gone at last. Look at what they turned me to, a coward in a cage, feeding me apologies, suppressing all my rage. I've been swallowing my pride, letting peasants take the crown. But the fuse is finally lit and the walls are coming down. I walked into the office just an hour ago today. The manager started yelling in his usual ugly way. He pointed his finger, called me lazy and slow, but I didn't shake or stammer, didn't put on a show. I grabbed him by his collar, slammed him flat against the wall, looked him dead in the eyes, watched his confidence fall. I whispered, "That's the last time you talk down to me. The old man is dead and the beast is set free." Now I'm packing up my duffel, clearing out the drawer. No more Mr. Nice Guy, no more hiding from the war. I'm hunting down the bastards who put me in to sleep, the ones who took my history and made me play the sheep. They thought they killed the monster, thought they won the game, but I remember every face and I remember every name. No more living like a bitch, no more playing neat to take no shit, motherfuckers back on the street. 'Cause the lightning finally hit, the dam began to break. A flood of buried memories kept me wide awake. but the king is back in town, and the playground's closed. 10 years of saying yes sir, 10 years of taking the blame. What a horrible nightmare, but I know my real name. Lock the doors, boys, the bitch is gone.